I thought I'd do part 3 now. I'm over at the heifer barn here. And I thought I'd do this over here, give a different view. I say it's just going to be me rambling and standing around, but like I say, this is the heifer pasture here. When we did the timber there before, we went through this, and there ain't much of anything in there. I mean, there's not a whole... I don't even think we saw any cherry in there. I mean, a lot of hemlock and stuff, which ain't worth a whole hell of a lot around here. It shows up very well, but all that's ash trees down there. They're dead now. And you can see they're not all that big. They weren't worth cutting at the time. So, but this is going to be part 3. So, after I checked into bankruptcy that first time and didn't accomplish nothing, about roughly a year later, it would have been 16 months, was back in September. So this would put it back roughly April, May of the year before, that I looked into debt renegotiation. And it works similarly to bankruptcy. What you do is you enroll, basically it was just credit cards though. I couldn't do like other accounts that were behind. It's just credit card type debt. And I enrolled 3 cards into it. And I don't know how they, well, I know how they're doing it, but the 3 cards I enrolled in there, what they came back with was my total payments in the program was actually going to be about $5,000 less than what was on the cards. Well, what they do is, and basically what happens, you enroll this in there, and then you start paying into that, and the money goes into a trust. And basically once they get an amount built up into it, then that's what they use to negotiate with the credit cards to pay them off. Now, this whole time you're building this up, one, you're still accruing interest, late fees, and you're going to start getting harassing phone calls. And they'll tell you, if any of them call you, to just tell them to get a hold of them. You know, I don't know if they actually notify them that you're enrolled in this program or not, but you're supposed to let them know, and they'll take care of all that. Now, this company I was dealing with, and the lawyer I'm doing the bankruptcy through, is actually surprised they did what they said they were going to do. Most of these companies are a sham, but this company, I'm not saying nothing bad against them, that they actually did what they said they were going to do. Now, like I say, it took like 7-8 months before they worked with the first card, and they did pay off 1 card. And what they do is, now just an example, say you had $10,000 on that card. When they get enough money, they go and negotiate with them. And basically their goal is to agree, at least get it down to 60%. That's what they're negotiating for. So if they can get it near there, most credit card companies will accept that. And in that time, they did that on the 1 card, so say it was $6,000. And they emailed me, said they reached a settlement, and at that time it was going to be 4 payments, whatever the payments were. And I had to make sure I kept paying. Like I said, the payments they were making was more than what I was paying in, but like I said, they had that reserve in that trust. And like I said, it took 4 or 5 months, and they paid that 1 card off. Now, here's another thing you got to remember from some of the research and stuff I've done. You might get a 1099, I believe it's a 1099-C. You might have to pay income tax on the amount that wasn't settled. You know, that $4,000 that was forgiven, where they agreed not to fight for. So, like I say, they did fine with that first card. Now, my agreement was over a 38-month period. Okay, let's go back to September of last year. I was just getting ready to make payment number 16. And I get an email saying that they reached a settlement with the second card. And the email said, settled for X amount, 24 payments. Well, now mind you, I've made 15 payments. 24 payments makes it 39 payments total. My agreement was for 38, so I had an issue with that. So I'm trying to figure this out, and that's the thing. The amount I was paying a month over 24 months was more than what they settled for. So I couldn't figure out what they were coming with. Well, 2 days later, I get another email that the offer's been rescinded. So basically, you have very little time to agree to it, and basically you have to agree to it for the most part, from what I found out here afterward. But I called them, said, "What the hell's going on here?" "Well, you didn't accept the offer, and it's a limited time." I said, "Well, then what's going to go on from here?" "Well, it'll probably go back to renegotiations." "All right, fine, whatever." 2 weeks later, I got served court papers on being sued by that credit card. So I called this company back, and the company, I'll say the name, it's AmeriCorps. Like I say, they actually did, for the most part, I think they would have done everything they said, but my issue was with that email. So I called them back, and I said, "What's going on here? I just got served papers from this credit card. I was told it's probably going to go back to renegotiations." "Well, you didn't accept the offer." "Well," I said, "you didn't give me enough information to accept the offer." I said, 24 months payments doesn't tell me enough. You didn't tell me what the payments were. "Well, you were supposed to call in." Well, I didn't have to the first time, and I said to him, something in an email in writing is going to hold more weight than you telling me something over the phone. And if you know what the payments were going to be, you could have put it in the email. Well, we kept going round and round, and eventually we got heated. "You're just getting hung up on email." I said, "Well, you didn't give me enough information." So we went round and round, and he says, "Well, we could go back to the credit card company. There's no guarantee that they will hold this offer. They could try to renegotiate, and it might be more." And went back and forth, and finally, it's up to you what you want to do. Well, I said, I'm going to go talk to a lawyer first. And that's where I went and talked to this lawyer, bankruptcy. And probably if I'd filed bankruptcy a year and a half, 2 years ago, I'd be better off. Well, it would have been less because I run the credit cards up more than what I did. But, I've been paying into this trust. They have my money, and the guy keeps telling me, "That's your money in there." Now, here's the other part where it comes in. I couldn't figure out exactly how they were going to make their money. Like I say, they were settling these cards for less than what I had on the cards, and they got to be making money on this too. So when I called in about canceling this, and there was no hassle about canceling it, I knew what should have been in that account, how many payments more should have been in there. Well, they closed it out, no problem. They issued me a check. I get the check, and it's about $2,800 less than what I thought was in there. So I called them back. And then, of course, you read the information they sent you. There is a formula, whatever. So basically, they took out their fees for settling the other card. Now here, every payment I made into there, they took a $10 transaction fee. Every payment they made to somebody else, was a $10 transaction fee. That difference between all them fees and that $2,800 is what they took for that 16 months for negotiating that one card, and basically how they keep it low enough. And that's why they probably try to get to that 60%. They had that $4,000 there that was forgiven. Well, they can then use their formula. They took $2,200 of it for their fee. It still saved me, $1,400 overall on that card. But, in the meantime, over that year, it's still incurring interest and stuff. So in the end, did I really, they make it sound like you're going to save so much, because if you just pay the minimum on these cards, you're going to be paying $100,000 by the time you pay off these cards. But we're going to settle it here for $35,000 off the whatever debt you had. So we're saving you $60,000. Well, in the end, they're saving you a couple $1,000s, and basically you're crashing your credit rating, which doesn't make a bit of difference unless you're looking at buying land or something. I mean, your credit score is another joke in my opinion too. But like I said, that was a whole run around with that, and it just wasn't a bad deal, but it wasn't the deal in the end I should be. Like I say, if I'm paying over 38 months, this should be over at 38 months, and they were taking out the 39, and then they still had one more card to negotiate. So I've been done paying at 38 months, but what the hell, they're going to be paying on this for another 12, 14 months after that, and it's going to put me in a bind on everything else. Like I said, my payments have been done, but so that was a sticking point with them. They didn't give me enough information to accept that offer, in my opinion, and because I didn't accept it, I ended up getting sued. And then once I got sued, I had 3 weeks to respond to this, or they get a default judgment, which by the time I talked to the lawyer and stuff, they actually did there is a judgment against me on that credit card. But filing the bankruptcy puts a halt to that for now. So like I say, there's nothing more they can pursue. But if I don't do what I need to do here, now the lawyer actually told me they dropped the suit here the other day, but there's nothing saying that they can't refile it or whatever. But yeah, once they get that judgment and you don't do any more, well, yeah, then they can go back, and then that's when they start doing the searching and find out you own property in an LLC and you own this and you own that, and then that's when they start sending their hound dogs after to get you. So like I said, the debt negotiation, this is these companies that say if you got $10,000 in credit card debt, we can help. Watch, if you're going to do that, watch which one you go with, because they say the lawyer, he's had several people do that and they did nothing for these people. He's actually surprised this company did as much as they did. I think their fees was a little bit high, but that was the next option I tried, and it didn't work out for me in the end. So that's where I was at on that. And now comes the next part where I filed the bankruptcy. But yeah, right here, I'll just throw this in. This is what I have for fertilizer this year. It doesn't look like I'm gonna buy any. And like I say, this might be some money right here. I got a dump trailer. If I could sell 4-ton loads, what the hell is it? The cost of fertilizer stuff, this should be worth at least $100, maybe $200 a ton. Hell, I'll take a 4-ton load somewhere to somebody for $500, And now there's got to be, I don't know how much I get on the manure spreader, but I guarantee there's well over 150, 200 loads here. And I know I'm hauling more in the manure spreader than I'd haul on the dump trailer. Spreader's a little bit bigger. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit. Right now, I'm probably, to ground level, I'm probably a good 10 foot up. This area here is a good 10 foot deep. You see that right there? I mean, it's not very deep right there, but that's all black compost right there. Dig that, like I said, I should come out here and dig that off into a separate pile, and then the next layer would rot down some. So, yeah, like I say, there's a few bucks here that could be made if I need to. If I end up getting rid of the cows, I could sell this. It's still, like I say, there's still an option. I could maybe plant corn this year. I'm going to be looking into something about some seed corn, something different, old style. But I just don't know if, I could put this manure on fairly heavy, plow it in. If it would be enough, it wouldn't be a spectacular crop, but I should get enough out of this to maybe grow some decent corn. Maybe be able to get a few acres in. Like I say, that's just an option I can explore, because like I said, that's got to be a part 5 in here. There is some options. There's stuff I've been talking about short term. Long term I have to get production up. But short term, there's some stuff in the works and some stuff I could do here. So like I say, maybe I can get through yet this year. Who knows? And like I say, that's some of my theories I have a 5-year loop. If I trace back back to 2011, there's like a 5-year dip, and if I'm right, this year might be a good year. If my conspiracy theory is right, and I might talk about that sometime, but like I said, that's just a little bit of the basic background of what I did for the next step that didn't work. So like I say, you just got to keep trying stuff. Eventually something's going to work. I mean, something's got to click here at some point. So maybe the bankruptcy is going to be the answer here yet. We'll find out. But I'm going to leave this one at that. I got to clean this barn. So, and these little fools. There's something else I can sell. I mean, give me $5-6 for them. I mean, make python food maybe. My wife wouldn't like that, but oh well. Thanks for watching. We'll catch up with you later.